I may have gone too far. As you can clearly see, the title is not clickbait, the thumbnail is not clickbait. This is mine. For those of you who have been in the hobby, you will know how significant this headphone is. Yes, it is the most expensive headphones in the world, but at the same time also carries a certain heritage and legacy behind it. But there are technically headphones that are more expensive than the HE1. For example, the Focal Tournier, which is basically just a bedazzled utopia. Or you have stuff like the Onkyo H900M, which is just bedazzled with 20 karat diamonds, or maybe just some, again, bedazzled Beats by Dre headphones, but I don't count those because those are just technically cheaper headphones made more expensive. But some of you in the comments may point out that there is also the Audio-Technica Narukami, which is technically more expensive than the HE1, but I don't count that because it's technically just the headphone amplifier that is more expensive. Now, it's a set that comes with a headphone called the AWKG Naru, but technically it's also just a reskinned AWKT, which is not the most expensive headphone either. What we have here, the HE1, is an all-in-one system. You can't use the HE1 headphone without plugging it into the bespoke amplifier / DAC. It's an electrostatic headphone, which means that it requires a separate energizer to power it, which means your typical headphone amplifier is not going to be able to drive the HE1. And perhaps some control on your part, you also can't use the HE1 headphone with any other energizer because it comes with a proprietary port. Ergo, this is a headphone system that is built with all of its parts in mind. The DAC is built with the energizer in mind, the energizer with the tubes in mind, and the tubes, of course, with the headphones in mind. You buy the HE1 and you experience the HE1 warts and all. So again, and full disclosure, I did buy this HE1. It was fully purchased by me, for me, but at the same time, I also had a discount from Sennheiser. But at the same time, I would like to show you what it's like when you actually buy a HE1, because I think that that is a question that can only be answered by a very small, select group of people. 157 to be exact. So in this case, I'll just let past Crinacle take it away when I was initially waiting for the delivery of my new baby. It's time, it's time, it's time.
Is it? Oh. I heard in the US you guys need to transport with an armored truck, is it? Thank you, boss. Thank you, boss. So this is a 157th HE1 in the world. Okay, which part to cut? And the last one. Okay. Oh, there's another box.
Okay.
More. Oh. Wow. Start. I assume need to plug in first, right?
Yes, and we should put it on a flat surface.
Wow, the gloves. Yeah, like that, yeah.
Like that. Over here, you will have the drivers inside here and the aluminium CNC remote control.
Wow.
Don't drop
Oh
it
wow,
on your
it's heavy.
foot. Don't drop it on your foot. And then, of course, the
Album.
certificate of the measurement.
Wow.
Yes.
Alright, iconic startup.
For the first startup, you have to press the power switch. Set it
On.
on. Let the power go in.
Just press it.
Just press it in. Yes, one time. Okay. Yes, let go and it will start.
Ah, there we go.
Maybe I can explain some of the functions first, although he has already used this for a few times, right?
Many times.
Many times. On the leftmost button, you have the different input, balance, unbalanced, USB, optical. You have the crossfit, and then you have the phone input. That means it outputs through the headphone. You can also mute it or use it as a preamp for your premium speakers itself. And if you actually need to adjust the gain, if it's, for example, the tracks are not loud enough and you would like to maximize the gain, you can increase the volume and then press and hold the plus and minus on the remote. You can see it shift here, and then you can increase the volume again. And if you, of course, want to adjust the gain down to lower, of course, you lower it down now. Please try it yourself. Press and hold the plus and minus at the same time, and then it will turn green, and then goes back up.
Two-stage gain.
Yes, two-stage gain itself. So for some people who may want to have extra loudness.
So as acting representative of this HE1 delivery, we have Wee Hong, who is also a close personal friend of mine. Wee Hong, maybe you can just introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Wee Hong from Sennheiser Consumer Hearing, a senior product manager for the audiophile category, and I'm very proud to be delivering the HE1 unit to Crinacle today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brief explainer for the people who don't understand what you're looking at. Maybe it's their first time in the hobby, or just simply someone who hasn't delved deep enough to know what the legendary HE1 is. Maybe you can just explain what is it.
So the HE1 is one of 3 electrostatics headphone ever built by Sennheiser/Sennheiser Consumer Hearing. It's a complete headphone system consisting of course, the very powerful electrostatic headphone. The body of the HE1 is crafted from Carrara marble. So this Carrara marble came from Italy, and one of the reasons why our engineers chose it was because it has very good dampening properties. And then to store the headphones itself and the amplifiers itself, we actually have CNC crafted aluminium holder to actually put it in place and to keep it secure. Should I also share the pricing of the HE1?
Actually, it's still kind of unstable, because in my first article, I had it set at 59,000 US, which was at the time it was true. What's the price now? Because euros is a different price, USD is a different price.
Due to the exchange rate.
Yes.
So right now, the price of this HE1 is, drum roll please, 69,000 euro.
Oh my god. In USD, is it still the same?
USD, it will depend on the exchange rate itself.
Oh, so it's sell exclusively in euros.
In euros, and then we'll actually apply the exchange rate on the, let's say, day of orders itself and calculate it in local currency.
69, wow. 70,000 US dollars.
Now, some of the interesting things maybe also about the HE1, right, is that the tubes, some people may be worried about the longevity of the tubes. What if the tubes wear out? What can you do with it? Crinacle, if the tubes ever wear out, there will be this light turning orange. It doesn't mean that it can't be used. You still can continue to use it, but when the lights turn orange, it's just letting you know, hey, the tube has run past a certain amount of hours, and that please consider changing it. The tube can be purchased in the full set of 8, and each of them are pre-assigned to their location, and then it can be replaced accordingly by the user. And of course, if you would like a second headphone, there's another headphone outlet at the back. So you can actually order a second electrostatic headphone itself to connect to this unit.
Then like you said, you can also use this as a preamp.
Yes.
So if I want to put extra speakers here, could also use this as a
preamp, and then the XLR output to your speakers amplifier.
all in one system. Value for money.
So would you like to start testing your precious HE1?
May I have the laptop?
And then of course this is the left and this is the right side.
Left and right. So
Yes.
just like that. And as with most headphones, I need to max out the headband. Still sounds as good as I remember it.
And now you can listen to it every day, every hours.
For those of you who have listened to electrostatics, you would know that typically they would sound very wispy, very lacking body, but at the same time it also sounds very high resolution, very fast. The HE1 is different in that it actually has bass, there's weight to everything. When you listen to it, it almost sounds like a regular dynamic driver, even a planar kind of headphone, but it still has that speed of the electrostatics that you're never going to get from those kinds of headphones. It's like the best of everything that all comes in, it's a completely unique experience that I don't think I've heard anywhere else. And yeah, I can only really experience it with the HE1. I'll stop here before I get lost and just forget to continue the rest of this experience. But yes, the HE1, as per usual, a magical experience. If you are a true audio enthusiast, I think you should really try it at least once at a Can Jam, maybe at the Hangout. We'll see whether you can try this out.
And of course, the closing sequence of the HE1 is different from the start. Just press it in once, you will hear.
There we go.
Yes.
Slow close. And there we have it, the HE1. Maybe we can let our boys try it out and film the reactions.
Oh, very tight.
Depressing, yeah.
It's so expensive. I'm not gonna lie, I'm shitting myself right now.
Yeah, that's fucking sexy, bro. Technically, they didn't have to put the tubes up, right? It will still work. It's just to show.
Let it run like that, it'll get too warm.
Oh, okay. So that's why they do it.
I can imagine a lot of cock jokes right now. I can imagine a lot of.
It's done. Now take the headphone.
Don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it. Holy fuck. I have mixed feelings about it.
In what way?
It sounds extremely clean and it sounds incredible, but because it's so clean, it doesn't have that personality that I like.
But this one is like raw, too raw
Yeah,
for you.
yeah. Oh, fuck. Oh, more than just thumbs up. This shit's fucking good, man. Oh my god. Thoughts? Spectacular. Something that you have to try out in real life. Oh my god. Extremely good. But extremely, words cannot be. I can't even base my words or sentences, man. This shit was just. My hands are cold.
Are you crying?
No, it's just that one part of the song. I was like, oh.
I think it's good, but that's all I can say. I think it's good. I don't know what else to say. When it's so good, like, I don't know what is good. Because everything is good, right? There's nothing standing out to me. It's just everything is good.
You can't tell what is the good parts.
Yeah. Because everything is good. But it's definitely the best thing I've heard on like headphones.
Okay. It truly does sound better than the SIM God.
Wow.
Oh my god. It's good. It's pretty good. I'm just trying to more figure out like what does what. So you can quantify it and then you can do it again, right?
There's a tube amp and then two separate class amps.
Class D amps. Wow.
Boy, that was an experience. I was expecting to be like wowed away. It wasn't quite that, but in very subtle and very correct ways, it's the best thing I've ever heard. Like, I love vocals, and hands down the best vocals I've ever heard. And the bass, that was good. This is the first time that I'm like really into the bass of something I've listened to.
For context, this is my third time trying it. Okay, there's my concert right there. I don't have to go to the concert anymore. Like, you can always hear the little details that the song has that you normally don't pick up. Shit, man, $100,000 headphone. It is worthy of the title, the best headphone in the world. Time to complete the family and find the obvious. Oh. Oh, the internals also sync in. Oh, okay. Wow, this has always been like the cool part about this.
So I've actually written a review of the HE1 on my website back at crinacle.com. And yes, I've tried out the HE1 many times before purchasing my own unit. So for those of you who have not read my review, the biggest question on your minds will probably be, Crin, how does it actually sound? Is it actually as good as everyone makes it out to be? First of all, let's just throw value proposition out of the way. I'm not going to make any excuses for a product like the HE1. You don't buy this when you want price to performance ratio. It's clearly not bang for your buck. In fact, with the HE1, you can probably buy an entire collection of headphones instead. But it is still a very special headphone. It's a headphone that Sennheiser has designed with absolutely no holds barred, no limits, no budget, essentially. And just like with many people who have tried the HE1, I would say that it sounds great. Amazing. Just spectacular. It is, again, I've mentioned this in my review, the best headphone that I've ever heard in my life. But here's where I have to make the distinction that this is the best headphone that I've ever heard. Because no matter how much engineering and lack of budget that Sennheiser has put into the HE1, they simply cannot beat physics. The best audio experience I've ever had is actually not the HE1. It's just a pair of speakers, a pair of good speakers in a well-treated room with a good subwoofer, and that, I feel, would beat out something even like the HE1. I think that's where disappointment comes in for some people, where they do expect a lot out of the HE1, perhaps too much. Again, it's a very good pair of headphones, but it simply doesn't have the same level of fidelity as you would with a 2-channel setup. So if it doesn't completely revolutionize the audio experience as a headphone, then why would you even buy it? Why would I, Crinacle, even buy a headphone like this, which doesn't have the value proposition nor the performance that completely blows me away? Well, simply put, I think that this headphone, and kind of by extension, the Orpheus as well, to be just very important pieces in the audiophile history, especially when it comes to headphones history. Again, this is what happens when you have a multi-million-dollar company working towards a product purely designed for performance with no limits in mind, not in budget, and sometimes not even in engineering. This is the best headphone that Sennheiser could build at the time. And personally, I think they have succeeded in building, again, the best headphones in the world. And of course, the question of whether or not you should buy one can only be answered by the depth of your wallet. If you can't even afford one, why even bother answering that question? But as the guy who really likes audio and the guy who has the means to buy one, I think that this is one of my best purchases in recent years, simply because that this is just, again, just a simply special headphone. People wait in line just to try this out. The CanJam appointments for you to try out a HE1 is always constantly booked out. There's no such thing as a walk-in when it comes to the HE1 experience. And now it just feels so surreal to have a unit just sitting here in my office, just free for me to use. No waiting time, no appointment, just press a button and just use it. It still doesn't feel real. Now, the other big question that people will probably have is whether or not you can actually try this unit out for yourself. And the answer is yes, with caveats. Because clearly with something as expensive as the HE1, I have to be much more discerning of the people that I allow to try it out. So if you are in Singapore and would like to try it out, well, you can always just put in a request when you visit our store at 200 South Bridge Road in Chinatown. But whether or not we let you try it out would be determined on a few factors. First of all is whether or not I am there, because if you want to try it out, clearly I have to be there to supervise. Second is that we would rather prioritize our own customers. So if you're someone who has made a few purchases with us, then we will more likely allow you to come and try it out. And lastly, which would be much more arbitrary, is whether or not you seem like an upstanding citizen and would not fuck us over at first notice. Basically, all of it just boils down to, we'll see. If we feel like letting you try it out, we'll let you try it out. But if we don't let you try it out, then just understand that sometimes either we don't have time or just simply you're just sus. Of that, let's welcome the newest member to the Crinacle family. Say hello to serial number 157, the Sennheiser HE1. the world's best headphones. And again, I just cannot believe that it's just sitting here on my office desk. It's here. To some of you who have directly or even indirectly allowed for this to happen, let me just thank you. Here are all of your names if you have subscribed to the $20 tier on my Patreon. And for the $30 big boys, allow me to speak out your beautiful names: Dennis, Crinacle, Andrew, Seraphim, Light Pizza, Chemotherapy, Daryl, Nano, and Treble. Well extended. Thank you all. I guess I can consider this a quick live update on my end. And with that, I'll see you guys next week. And don't die. Fuck off.
Now this is me when he pulls out his cock that's bigger than mine. Like, this is me making sure that the footage doesn't get out.
No, you just made it worse.
There's no way you're putting a gay cock joke on YouTube.
Timmy will make it work.
Timmy will make it work? Oh, he's gonna agree with me.